Shedeur Sanders, the face of the Browns' future, the rookie quarterback who had the city of Cleveland buzzing with possibility, has reportedly walked out of the facility. Benched again. Disrespected again. Gone, silent and fed up. And now, Kevin Stefanski, the man who once looked like the steady hand guiding this team through chaos, is being pushed to the edge. Fans are livid. The locker room is split. Ownership is in meltdown mode. And the NFL world is watching Cleveland spiral into a Shakespearean football tragedy in real time.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Let's talk about how we got here and why this might be the moment that finally breaks the Browns. From the moment Shedeur Sanders arrived in Cleveland, things felt different. The energy changed. The fans felt it. The players felt it. Hell, even the ticket sales felt it. Suddenly, Browns games weren't just something you dragged yourself to out of loyalty. They were events. Shedeur was electric, magnetic, and for once, this franchise looked like it had a face to build around. But from day one, the tension was there. Behind the scenes, there was a growing tug-of-war. On one side, the old-school philosophy, Kevin Stefanski, preaching discipline, structure, tight control, play the system mentality. On the other side, Shedeur, young, confident, unafraid to lead, unafraid to be himself, dynamic, charismatic, loud in all the best ways. And the Browns? They tried to have it both ways. Let Shedeur be the face, while quietly pulling back the reins. Give him the marketing spotlight, but keep him on a short leash when it came to control of the offense. Showcase his jersey, but limit his playbook. What could go wrong, right? Everything. This latest incident? It was a long time coming. Sources say Shedeur was benched again, this time after reportedly clashing with Stefanski during a private film session that turned into a full-on argument. Stefanski allegedly questioned his commitment to the system. Shedeur apparently questioned the system's ability to win games. And then he was benched. Again. And this time, Shedeur didn't take it quietly. He walked, left the building, shut off his phone, refused to speak to staff, ghosted the franchise. And honestly, can you blame him? This wasn't just a coaching decision. This was a message. Stefanski wanted control. And Shedeur, right or wrong, said enough. Now, let's talk about what's really happening here. This is bigger than a benching. Bigger than a bad game. Bigger than one fractured relationship. This is a power struggle. Not just between Shedeur Sanders and Kevin Stefanski, but between two eras colliding. Two versions of how NFL franchises are run. Stefanski represents the old model. Controlled. Cautious. Stick to the script. It's about the system, not the player. Shedeur? He's the new wave. Young, social media savvy, ultra-confident, not afraid to call out what isn't working. He's part of a generation of athletes who understand their value. On the field, off the field, and in the culture. And when those two philosophies don't align, boom. That's when locker rooms fracture. When veterans take sides. When rookies start whispering. When trust collapses. And, in Cleveland, that collapse is happening right now. The locker room is reportedly split down the middle. Some players, especially veterans, have sided with Shedeur. They've seen him put in the work. They've watched him elevate the offense, even when the system didn't help him. They know what it feels like to be on a team that's actually competitive with a real leader at quarterback. And for them, Shedeur represents the future. But then you've got the other side. The players who feel Stefanski deserves respect, who believe in chain of command, who believe no one, not even the face of the franchise, is above the team. They've bought into the discipline-first culture. And they're not exactly thrilled with the idea of a rookie ghosting the organization because he didn't like being benched. So now, the team is at war with itself. And the fans? Don't even get started. #FireStefanski is trending every other day. Season ticket holders are threatening to cancel. Merch sales for Shedeur have reportedly tanked since the incident, not because fans are turning on him, but because they're tired of watching the team turn on him. This isn't just noise. This is a fan base in open rebellion. And ownership? Caught completely off guard. Again, Jimmy Haslam and the front office, who had marketed Shedeur as the new era and the future of the franchise, are now scrambling. Emergency meetings. Leaked frustrations. Behind the scenes finger-pointing. And you know what that usually means? Somebody's getting fired. Let's be real. This doesn't end cleanly. It doesn't end with a hug at midfield and a feel-good press conference. It ends one of two ways. 1. Stefanski is out. Ownership cuts ties with the coach, offers an apology to Sanders, and turns the team over to him. Fully. They build the offense around him. Make him the center. The system adapts to him, not the other way around. Or 2. Sanders is gone. Traded. Moved. Cut loose. The Browns double down on culture and accountability and try to salvage what's left of the locker room. They put the brand ahead of the future, and they spend the next 10 years watching Shedeur become a superstar somewhere else. There's no middle ground anymore. That ship has sailed. And the league? Oh, they're watching. They're paying attention. Because this situation is a perfect storm of what the modern NFL is becoming. Player empowerment, social media leverage, coaching rigidity, ownership misalignment, fans demanding transparency. And Cleveland? They just became the cautionary tale. They became Exhibit A in how not to handle generational talent. They became the team that turned a rising star into a walking PR nightmare. They became the franchise that chose ego over evolution. And the most painful part? It didn't have to be this way. Shedeur wanted to lead this team. He wanted to make Cleveland home. He had already won over the fans, the city, the spotlight. All he needed was support. All he needed was trust. Instead, he got politics, power struggles, petty decisions, and a coach who couldn't get out of his own way. Now, it's scorched earth. So here's the question. Is there still time to fix this? Can the Browns humble themselves, clean house, and make Shedeur Sanders the centerpiece again? Or is it already too late? Because if he walks, if they trade him, or he demands out, make no mistake, he will thrive somewhere else. He'll get the system he deserves, the trust, the keys. And when he does, Cleveland will watch in agony. Again, just like they've done so many times before. Now, we want to hear from you. Should the Browns fire Kevin Stefanski and rebuild around Shedeur Sanders before it's too late? Is this a player power play gone too far, or a necessary shake-up to an outdated system? And what's next for a franchise teetering on the edge of total collapse? Drop your take in the comments. Be loud. Be honest. This is your team, your voice, your crisis. And don't forget to subscribe, because this story is still unfolding. And the next move could change everything. Because if you thought Shedeur Sanders walking out of team facilities was the peak of this drama, baby, that was just the pregame speech. The real storm is only beginning, and the Browns are standing right in the eye of it, bracing, spinning, and somehow still pretending everything is under control. Let's talk about what's happening behind closed doors, because what we're seeing in public is just the surface. The real story? It's unfolding in locker rooms, phone calls, and those quiet, paranoid corners of Berea, where management is sweating bullets and wondering how this all unraveled so fast. You've got ownership, who reportedly expected Shedeur to be the new face of the franchise. Not in 2 years. Now, he was supposed to bring the Browns out of the quarterback darkness, attract new fans, ignite the culture, and maybe, just maybe, deliver a playoff run that didn't end in tears and turbulence. He wasn't just a player. He was hope. He was business. He was brand. He was Cleveland's comeback story. And now, he's ghosted them. They don't even know if he's coming back. Let that sink in. The Browns' most marketable, promising player has left the building, and no one can say when he'll return. You cannot overstate the gravity of that. You just can't. This isn't a third-string wide receiver throwing a tantrum over playing time. This isn't your backup safety clapping back on Twitter. This is your franchise quarterback, the one you plastered on season tickets, the one you built your social campaigns around, saying, "I'm out." And the worst part? You saw it coming. You saw it the first time they benched him. You saw it in the sideline body language. You saw it when Shedeur stopped smiling in interviews, started giving those clipped answers. When his usual fire started to dim. When he went from, "I'm here to lead," to "I'm here to survive." And now, he's had enough. Let's not pretend this didn't all trace back to one name, Kevin Stefanski. Look, respect where respect is due. He pulled Cleveland out of a deeper ditch than most coaches could have handled. He brought some calm, some competence, some structure. But somewhere along the way, he stopped evolving. He stuck with the system. His system. Only his system. It didn't matter who the quarterback was. It didn't matter how the team had changed. Stefanski has always been about control. Plug and play, follow the script, no improvisation, no flair, no room for personalities that challenge the hierarchy. And Shedeur Sanders? He's not a plug-and-play guy. He's the guy. He's not here to fit in. He's here to build something new, something bold, something this city hasn't seen since ever, really. But Stefanski didn't want bold. He wanted obedience. And when Shedeur didn't fall in line, when he dared to question the scheme, to suggest changes, to challenge the norm, he was punished. First, quietly, then publicly, then humiliatingly, and now, irreparably. Now, let's get into the fallout, because believe me, there's fallout. The locker room is radioactive. You've got veteran players, some on their last contract, who believe Shedeur was the missing piece to finally get over the hump. They've seen what he brings, the footwork, the decision-making, the confidence. They watched how defenses responded differently when he was under center. There was movement, flow, hope. Now, you've got receivers quietly asking, "Who's even throwing me the ball next week?" You've got players showing up to practice distracted, disillusioned. And you've got coaches trying to sell the idea that Dillon Gabriel is the answer while looking like they barely believe it themselves. No disrespect to Gabriel, he's talented. But he's not the leader. He's not the heartbeat. He's not the face. The actual face of the franchise just slammed the door behind him. And the ripple effect is hitting everyone. Let's talk about the fans. Because if the locker room is split, the fan base is shredded. You've got the old school crowd backing Stefanski's approach. "You can't let the players run the team," they shout. "This is about discipline, not drama." But those voices are getting drowned out. Because the majority of the fan base? They were ready to ride with Shedeur. They were excited. They bought in. Literally jerseys, tickets, merch, you name it. They were ready to go to war for him. And now, they're canceling orders, shutting off broadcasts, trashing Stefanski in every comment section and forum from Cleveland to Canton. Because nothing kills a fan base like watching the one thing that gave you hope get benched for politics. And Cleveland? They've been burned too many times to sit quietly. Meanwhile, every sports network is circling like vultures. You got the talking heads arguing about culture versus chaos, wondering if Shedeur is the next Kyler Murray, or if he's being sabotaged by an old-school system that refuses to adapt. And guess what? Teams are watching too. The phones are ringing. Multiple GMs reportedly already have mock trade packages in place. Teams with aging quarterbacks. Teams with QB injuries. Teams that need a culture jolt and a PR win. Because even with this drama, maybe because of it, Shedeur Sanders has never looked more valuable. Why? Because this league is changing. The NFL isn't just about winning anymore. It's about leading. About culture. About identity. About building a team around a star who moves the needle on and off the field. And Shedeur? He does all of that. He sells tickets. He moves product. He commands a locker room. He trends globally with a single tweet. The idea that a guy with that much momentum is benched not for performance, but for not fitting the system, that's not just incompetence. That's malpractice. So what's next? It's decision time. And Cleveland? They don't have weeks. They don't even have days. They have hours. This story is too loud, too messy, too viral to ignore. And let's be honest, there's no walking this back without major changes. You either fire Stefanski, offer a clean slate, call Shedeur personally, admit you botched the situation, and let him be the face, not just of the team, but of the rebuild. Build a new offense around him. Find a coach who gets it. Or trade him. Rip off the Band-Aid, get a massive package in return, and accept the consequences of letting another franchise turn Shedeur into the star you were too afraid to trust. That's it. Those are the only choices. And either way, the Browns are changed forever. So now, we ask you, was Shedeur right to walk out? Should Stefanski be fired immediately? Or has this franchise already crossed the point of no return? Here's the thing about Cleveland. It's a football city. Always has been. Gritty, loyal, emotionally invested to the point of self-destruction. And when they believe in a player, they don't just support him. They build statues in their minds before the guy even finishes his first season. That's what Shedeur Sanders was becoming. Not just a rookie, not just a QB, a symbol, a sign that maybe, just maybe, the Browns had finally gotten it right. And now, it feels like they fumbled the one thing they couldn't afford to lose. You want to talk legacy? Talk about how long it took Cleveland to believe again. How hard they fought through the quarterback carousel, the draft busts, the false starts. Every time they pulled themselves back up, hoping the next guy would finally be the guy. Then Shedeur walks through the door with poise, maturity, and command, and the franchise freezes. Benches him. Twice. And this time, he walks. The news spread like wildfire. Not because it was shocking, but because it was inevitable. You can only silence a leader for so long before he stops listening. And Shedeur? He stopped. Completely. This was never about immaturity. It wasn't about ego. It was about a fundamental disconnect between what Shedeur represents and what the Browns are willing to become. The NFL is changing. The locker room isn't just a military operation anymore. It's a collaboration of men who want to win and be heard. Stefanski never made that adjustment. Shedeur did. And when the two collided, it was like watching two entirely different eras of football trying to coexist in the same stadium. Spoiler, they can't. So what now? If the Browns keep Stefanski, they're sending a message. Not just to Shedeur, but to the league. A message that control matters more than creativity. That obedience trumps leadership. That they'd rather have a silent quarterback than a dynamic one who questions the status quo. Good luck with that. Because if Shedeur walks, that door doesn't swing both ways. It slams. And wherever he ends up next, you better believe that team will let him cook. They'll roll out the red carpet, give him the reins, and market him the way Cleveland only pretended to. And Browns fans? They'll have to watch it all unfold from the outside. Again, another jersey in the trash. Another chapter closed. Another could-have-been story they'll tell at bars and tailgates for the next 20 years. This isn't just about a quarterback. It's about philosophy, direction, identity. Do the Browns want to be a team of the past? Or finally, step into the future? Only one decision left to make. And it's not just Stefanski on the line anymore. It's the entire soul of the franchise. Stay tuned. The man who had single-handedly lit a fire under this team is just gone. And inside that building, everyone's pretending to stick to the plan. Coaches walking fast through the hallways. Players doing press with dead eyes. Ownership behind closed doors, asking the question, how did we screw this up? And honestly, it's not a mystery. They saw it coming and walked right into it anyway. Because this wasn't just a coaching decision gone wrong. This was a total institutional failure, the kind that shakes a franchise to its core. And now, the whole league is watching the Browns unravel like a live episode of Hard Knocks, Tragedy Edition. Let's talk about the aftermath. Shedeur's absence isn't just a personnel issue. It's a cultural collapse. Receivers are wondering if their timing drills even matter anymore. Defensive leaders like Myles Garrett are reportedly frustrated, not because of Shedeur, but because the team keeps throwing away their prime years for offensive politics. And the fans? They're not dumb. They see a generational defense going to waste. They see a rookie QB with poise beyond his years getting benched for daring to have a voice. They see a coaching staff doubling down on silence, control, and structure, like that ever worked in Cleveland. They see the same old Browns, just with shinier logos and better camera angles. Let's be real, this city was ready to go all in on Shedeur Sanders. And not just because of the name, not because of the followers, not because of Dion, because of the results. Because he came in, embraced the pressure, and made people believe again. He made football fun. He made Sundays matter. And now that hope? Benched. Again. Gone. Possibly traded. So let's say the Browns do move him. Let's say Stefanski digs in, ownership caves, and Shedeur ends up in, Atlanta? Denver? New Orleans? Wherever he lands, they'll give him a real offense. Real support. Real freedom. And you know what happens next? Cleveland becomes the punchline again. The memes write themselves. Browns lose QB of the future over vibes. Shedeur Sanders, another star Cleveland couldn't keep. Cleveland curses itself again. But it doesn't have to end like this. The team still has a choice. A real one. Because the truth? This is fixable. Barely, but it is. And it starts with leadership owning their mistakes. Not spinning it. Not gaslighting the fan base. Not running PR distractions. Real accountability. Step 1. You sit down with Shedeur. Face to face. No cameras. No press. No spin. Step 2. You admit what everyone already knows. You tried to force him into a box that doesn't fit. Step 3. You ask him what he needs. And then, you listen. Because if the Browns have any intention of being taken seriously in this league, they need to start treating talent like partners, not pawns. Shedeur isn't just another QB. He's a movement. And movements don't wait around for slow, scared organizations to catch up. But if they don't fix it, let's be real, Kevin Stefanski's days are numbered. Even if he survives this season, the damage is done. You can't bench the most exciting quarterback your franchise has drafted in years, cause him to walk out, and still expect to keep the locker room intact. You can't fumble your future and expect your veterans to trust your judgment. You can't silence your star and expect the fans to keep showing up. The fuse has been lit. And this isn't a fire you contain with a midweek press conference. There's a reason this story is trending league-wide. It's not just about Cleveland anymore. It's about a bigger shift in the NFL. We're watching the old model rigid, authoritarian, fear-driven coaching get exposed in real time. And we're watching the new wave, player-first, emotionally intelligent, relationship-driven leadership rise up. The Browns had a front-row seat to that evolution. And they chose the past. But the rest of the league? They're moving forward. Fast. Look at Houston. Look at Detroit. Look at Miami. Teams that gave their young talent freedom, identity, belief. And look what it got them. Meanwhile, Cleveland is over here playing 2004 football in a 2025 league. So here's the brutal truth. If Shedeur Sanders never plays another down in a Browns uniform, it won't just be a what if. It'll be a black mark on this franchise's already tortured history. People will talk about it for decades. It'll be right up there with passing on Deshaun Watson in 2017, drafting Johnny Manziel, and hiring Freddie Kitchens. Another reminder that when given a choice between courage and control, the Browns always pick control. But you don't have to. You're the fans. You hold more power than you think. You built the buzz around Shedeur. You bought the jerseys. You packed the stands. You drove the engagement, the energy, the hope. And now, you have the mic. So use it. Let the team know this isn't just a blip. It's a betrayal. Let them know this isn't just part of the process. It's the problem. Because if Shedeur Sanders walks, and the Browns implode, you're going to want to be able to say you fought to stop it. Now, I want to hear from you. Is there any chance Shedeur returns to Cleveland after this? Should Stefanski be fired before the team hits the field again? And if Shedeur does leave, where do you think he goes next? Drop your takes in the comments. Be ruthless. Be real. And don't forget to subscribe, because we'll be watching every twist, every turn, every leaked text and sideline stare as this unreal drama continues to unravel. Because this isn't just a story anymore. This is history. And the Browns? They're writing it in permanent ink, one mistake at a time.